Tyro, virtual threat, keystroke kill, identity hidden, I fulfill. Cyber assassin, that's my prowl. Codes in hand, you'll fall. Hack and strike, chaos I make. Cyber realm, my domain to take.
So, I want to start by saying, there's this whole aspect of Mars moving in currently, and with the Mars aspect there's always, you know, the conquering and more of the warrior aspects. You know, everything's something to be conquered, or, you know, plotted, and courses made and plans made to be able to own, to break, to fix things and change things and put them in a way that we idolize or idealize that it should be. So I haven't seen a horned toad in a little while. It's been a minute. I'm super excited to see this dude. My mom and I were having these conversations about, you know, animals that seem to be less and less evident in nature as they used to be. And this guy I have honestly seen less and less of. Now, because he's chill, I am going to capture him. Just because we do want to get a really good look at the horned toad. He's a rather quick little brother. Quick little brother. Interesting little lizard here. This guy, the horned toad, is a quite interesting little dinosaur with his crested horned head, spikes and all. He is quite a fat little guy. This guy is so gray. I don't know if they have a chameleon essence to them. I've never noticed that they change color, but as I'm watching him, he does seem to be getting darker right now. Interesting. I've never noticed they have that aspect. You're a beautiful little guy, you little dragon. You itty bitty fat dragon. I love you, brother. Dreaming away in front of your ant pile, chowing down in your morning breakfast, and here I come and chase you out, but I'm gonna put you back down. I just had to recognize you, my little brother. You're beautiful. I didn't know you could change colors. That's very cool. And ready, set, wow, I didn't know he changed colors. He was so gray, but then he changed to what I would call the normal color that I normally see out of those guys, is a, you know, a desert tan with little spots, like they look like the gravel. But I guess he'd probably been laid up in this more gray bush and he changed color to that aspect, which I've never seen before. That's cool. And like I said, I haven't seen a horned toad in a while. Lizards in particular, about dreaming things before they come to be. It's about the exploration in the dream world of the fundamental places and key moments that are experienced and set forth to be in this reality, first found in the dream world. You know, the story of the lizard is the lizard's kicking back and he's under a bush, just like I encountered the horned toad, just sleeping away. And I walk right up on him, and you know, he sees me coming. He totally knows I'm there and isn't concerned with me whatsoever, because the lizard already knows the future. The lizard sees the future before the future is what it's going to be. And for that reason, the lizard has no worries. the lizard is truly one of the fearless creatures in this realm because it already knows if it's going to be a good encounter or a bad encounter. It's not a question, it's just a waiting for it to become the moment that they're in. They've already dreamed it, they already know it. So when you encounter a lizard, in particular any species of lizard, some snakes, they typically will react immediately or not react. Sometimes that not reaction is the powerful reaction because you know that it knows that you are meeting it and it's going to be fine. It's not even worried. It knows you are coming, and that's why it's so comfortable just sitting there, because it already knows what's going to happen. It's already seen it, and it knows you're not a threat. So it's comfortable with your meeting it, and the whole moment, the movements in the moment are authorized and pre-seen. That's kind of us entering the realm of the lizard. Look at this. I mean, this may actually be like an entire pot. You know, in this area here, there's pottery all over, but I've just found basically remnants of a possible entire ancient clay pot here. All the pieces are scattered because it's been here for some time, but you know, it's everywhere. Little pieces of a pot. I'm just gonna gather them and leave them there because, well, I'm obviously in one of those spots, aren't I? Just in one of those spots again. I sure am drawn to these areas of the ancient inhabitants, you know. And look at this ancient Dene pottery. You know, these are areas that are close to the old river, what used to run year round. Old timers, you know, centurions remember the days. There's less and less of those who were alive then now. But those who were, they still can tell you the stories of when the river ran year round in Tucson and the difference in what it was to what it currently is. The proliferation of pottery out here, I mean, I just walk around and oh, that's a rock at any rate. Walking around out here and finding pottery in random spots, like whole pots that have just been crushed and then slowly disintegrated into the ground. I mean, there's pottery literally everywhere out here. I mean, this is another one of those places where if I got down and started really looking around, it's amazing to me that there's so much, and there's so many places like this here in Tucson where, I mean, you can find like the entire earth is a trash heap of old pottery that the Dene have left behind, showing how prolific, how proliferated their society was. I mean, obviously, for pottery to be everywhere like this, just walking around and find it on the ground, a huge society had to have lived here at some point to have left so much behind for me to just walk around and pick it up off the ground everywhere. I mean, when you start to find these more interesting, you know, painted, that's where I'm like, you know, you got your normal old everyday pottery that you find, and then you find these more ornate painted pieces with the red dye, particularly these nice tans with the red paint on them. That just says somebody with a little more skill and took a little more time and made something that was more of a, this is my drinking cup, or this is my eating bowl, or, You know, we don't just mix and store things in this pot. This pot here is special. So when you get in the areas of, obviously the Dene have been here. It's also arrowheads and axe heads and grinding apparatuses for, you know, converting the mesquite bean into flour. The mesquite thorns also were ground down and made into a flour. The yucca root was absolutely something that people would harvest for food, for soap, for water. Extract the water out. Some of it's for food, some of it's for soap. There's uses for every plant, and not all the entire plant is useful, but every plant seems to have a purpose, whether it be to help humans or help the earth. Some things aren't meant to help any living thing at all. It's more a shelter or a keep away plant. The poisonous things like nightshade and different stuff that you can find growing in certain places. Interesting find though. I'm happy to have found a bed of pottery out here, an area of ancient inhabitants. Proof of ancient inhabitants. That's always part of my quest out here on my adventures. Back to my original thought. Aspects of Mars coming in. And I'm grateful, thank you Spirit, for the deflection, because just bringing up that thought, I just have to remember, because aspects of Mars are coming on in, I have to remember that it isn't about war. Everything's not about war, and that's what it can become very easily. Under the aspects of Mars, everything is about war. Everything's about conquering. Everything's trying to challenge you. Everybody looks at you and wants to see if they can take you. That's not real. It's not real. That's an inner dialogue that's being put forth by the energies of the cosmos, prevalent and attached to Mars. Mars, and well, there are aspects that are, I want to say, divergent from each other's purposes currently. You've got a Venus aspect, you've got a Libra aspect, you've got a Mars aspect, and these things are oppositions. They're places where things are meeting that cause a duality in thought and feeling that I think a lot of people aren't used to. It's a schizophrenic energy. And if you haven't dealt with people with disabilities and people with schizophrenia, it's hard to understand how the mind works in two places with two different thoughts and two different understandings and two different beliefs at once. To be able to believe and not believe at the same time. It's like being able to debate yourself, to hold both a pro and a con perspective and argue the points of both to the point of a believable argument from both stances within oneself. That's to be schizophrenic. That's to have that bipolar thing going on where, yes, it's absolutely this, but it's this too. You know, the duality. Well, what if the duality is actually a triality? You know what I'm saying? What if there's an in-between as well? You know, you go there and you come back and you go over here, and then you sit somewhere in between and observe both indifferently. Because the action sometimes needs to be a non-action, and every once in a while you've got to do both. You've got to act, and then you've got to not act, and then you got to sit back and just let it be and just observe a role. As the physicists, as the people at CERN have found out, observation is action. Just being the observer maybe has the most profound effect of all. Physical action is a progenitor of change and causation. But observation provides the construct from which within it is capable of providing any change, any impact at all in reality, because without that connect, I mean catfish, bluegill, carp, turtles. See the carp there? There's one. See any fish right off the bat here, but trust me, I've seen huge carp and bluegill and caught turtles, a few minnows. Let's go take a look at the inlet.